Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and I'm very tired, but I'm supposed to sleep. But I came upon some quotes on this very article, this Guardian article, where they interviewed Alexander Syrskyi, the commander-in-chief of Ukrainian armed forces, and some of these quotes is very interesting, and I felt like you know you cannot sleep. So you must do a video to tell people what you think because because I don't know why you care about how I think. But anyway, yeah, you're here, so might as well just talk about it. I haven't read this article at all. Okay, so no disclaimer. So I have no idea what's going to come in this article. I gotta react live as per this recording and see what Syrskyi said about the Ukraine war and the situation about Ukrainian forces and the Russian forces on the ground. So let's see. So, article by Guardian and so written by Luke Hardin and photos by Alexio Marmo and Mamo and the title: I know we will win and how. Ukraine's top general on turning the tables against Russia. Let's go. So, Colonel General Alexander Syrskyi weighs Ukraine's recent setback, counterstrikes, and changing face of Europe's biggest war since 1945. So, they took a photo of him, and he wore the exact same clothes as, exact same shirt as Zelensky. Bros forever. So anyway, yeah. So sitting on a stack of ammunition crates in the secret military base, Colonel General Alexander Syrskyi. True storytelling, man. Let's just go into the stuff. So he said that he's type bleep about when they'll receive the F-16s, and this week, maybe August. I know I can't tell you about it, unfortunately. So he knows, and he grinned. So clearly he knows that the F-16 is gonna come. Rumors have it is, I think, in August or September, around there, but I don't think it's going to make much difference unless they one time 100 200 F-16s at one shot. Maybe there's a difference. So anyway, so Fuller, he acknowledged that the Russians are much better resourced. They have more of everything: tanks, IFVs, infantry fighting vehicles, soldiers. So important points here. So the original 100,000 strong invasion force has grown to 500,000, 520,000, and with the goal of, by the end of the year, of 690,000 men. Suddenly, I felt like a very urgent need to check how much Ukraine claim that they have killed. So let me show you how Ukrainian armed forces claim that they have killed 571,000 troops. This is Ukrainian armed forces, 25th of July report. They claim 571,000 troops. So by end of the year, there's only going to be 690,000. So 690,000 minus 571,000. That means Russia is just going to be 120,000 troops. Easy. Not a problem. No. Barely an inconvenience. So the original 100,000 strong invasion force is only going to grow to 120,000 only. No, because the end goal of 690,000 by the end of 2024 is gone. Because Ukraine has claimed 571,000 troops killed already. So no problem. Slava Ukraini, right? So when it comes to equipment, there is a ratio of 1:2 or 1:3 in their favor. And since the 2022, the number of Russian tanks has doubled from 1,700 to 3,500. Impossible, right? They killed 8,300 tanks. Who's lying here? Ukraine killed 8,000 tanks. So the Russians has now negative number of tanks. They are now, negative 5,000. So the Russians actually owe Ukrainian tanks now. The Russians owe Ukrainian 5,000 tanks. These Russians, Artillery system have tripled. Armor personnel carriers gone from 4,500 to 8,900. 16,000 armor personnel carrier has been destroyed. So how much again? 16,000. So not just the Russians owe the Ukrainians 5,000 tanks, they are now owe the Ukrainians 8,000 armored personnel carriers. I do not know how the math works, but yeah. So unless they're telling us that on top of 3,500 there is another 8,000 tanks, which means that the Russians have a total of if nothing is destroyed, 12,800 tanks. So how do they double the tanks? So 1,700 is inside Ukraine alone, or the entire Russian military? Significant advantage in force and resources. Therefore, issue of supply and issue of quality is really at the forefront. Issue of supply, they don't have. Issue of quality, they also don't have. Really at the forefront. So the man-machine superiority explains recent events at the battlefield. Ukrainian armed forces has been going steadily backwards. So the first thing he do was to withdraw his troops from the eastern city of Avdiivka, and then retreat coincided with a 6-month gap of US supply of weapons. So it's US fought, Americans fought. So more have recently arrived, but the Russians, however, still seizing fields and villages in eastern Donbass using airdrop bomb to blast a way forward. Eating up northwest of Avdiivka, Pokrov, Chasiv, and they're sieging Chasiv, and opened a new front in Kharkiv, storming Voschansk. So they anticipated the attack, but seemingly couldn't stop it. But I heard the Ukrainians are taking out 10 soldiers for every one they lost, so it's fine. And so in this interview with Guardian, he admit that things are very difficult. Russians attack their positions in many directions, and can it be halted? Of course, but first depend on their brave soldiers and officers. So they say that the resilient and heroic Ukrainians defeated a bigger enemy groups, he said. But I heard, again, other people told me that this is all strategic tactical retreat. They actually draw the Russians in to kill them off. So it's trading space for time, trading time on space for Russian troops getting killed. So he said the latest attempt to seize Kharkiv and Sumy has failed. Okay, and fighting continued to create a so-called security corridor next to Russian border, and Belgorod region has been thwarted. None. Okay. I don't think the Russians really actually invaded into Sumy, so that's one thing. Security corridor next to Russian border, and the Belgorod region is not thwarted, right? The Russians are still there. They already have that corridor. Unless any further, Russia is going to be sieging Kharkiv city. So it is already a corridor. As far as I'm concerned, that is already the corridor. The reason why, I tell you why, you don't need to have this 20-30 kilometer deep security corridor, because the moment you go in that 5-10 kilometers, is it 5-10 kilometers? Let me check. So let me put out the map first. So there's the map. So let's see how far the Russians went. So from this depth is around, at furthest 10 kilometers, so around around 8 kilometers. So, around Syrskyi is around 6 kilometers. So at Voschans is around 6 kilometers. So it's actually enough. Let me explain why. Because you have already incurred into 6 to 8 kilometers into Ukrainian territory, the Ukrainians have no choice but to engage and fight with the Russian forces that has incurred into this Ukrainian territory. And any artillery systems, any rocket systems will then have to prioritize targets on these Russian troops. And by doing this, they not just diverted the attention away from shelling Belgorod, but also at the same time revealing their locations, which then attracted Lancet drone strikes, Iskandar, as well as what's the other one? The forgot the guided artillery strikes. So by using your weapon system to fight against the Russian troops, you reveal their location and actually get neutralized, and that also helps to create that security for Belgorod. So to say that the security corridor failed, I think it's a cope. I don't think that is true. So there's some. So he say about rumors about Russians planning an assault in southern Zaporizhia region. He say that if it happens, they can give them a good response. It already somewhat happening right now. There's fighting. The fighting have increased by a gear, in the Zaporizhia front, and there's more fighting, around the Novodanilivka region, Novoandreevka region. Mala Tomashka has been an ongoing thing. Robotin north of Robotine has been, starting to get a bit itchy. So the Russians are already trying to sense out the Ukrainians. So let's see if they want to give a good response. I don't know what is a good response. Like what? Hi. I don't know. So whatever. So anyway, he said that to put the setback into context, he said that these creeping victories are tactical ones, local gains rather than in the operational breakthrough. So like the capture of a major city. Talking about capturing of a major city, Krasnohorivka is falling. So Krasnohorivka in the Donetsk front is as important as Adievka city, which if in case you do not know where it is, it's here. So Krasnohorivka is here. So Adievka city is here. So although Adievka city is seemingly bigger city, but this is actually a fortress city. So this a lot of trenches here. So a fall of Krasnohorivka is pretty major. I think when he talked about a big city, I think he's probably talking about New York, which is also pretty big. New York is as big as Adievka or bigger. Is halfway gone already. The Torres is another big one. And then of course, maybe he's talking about Konstantinivka. Konstantinivka is a bit to the rear position, not very relevant. So yeah. He very convinced. I don't know. The same as the pro-Ukrainians guys. They're very easily forget about the fall of Adievka, which is exactly when he took over. So in principle, enemy has not made significant progress, which is a cope. So yeah. So he said that twice the length of the border between Germany and France is currently fighting. I think this is also an important thing to note for people who are underestimating the size of the Ukrainian-Russian conflict. This is a huge war. Ukraine is not a small country. Ukraine is also not a weak country. It's a corrupted country, yes, but so is Russia. Russia is also corrupted. It's just not as corrupted as Ukraine. But Ukraine is a huge country. It originally started off with a huge army. So it has probably the biggest army in Europe after Russia. So sometimes people when they talk about Ukraine as if it's as if it's Belgium or like as if it's some tiny country. It's not true. Ukraine is a huge country, which is why the war takes a long time. To claim that Russia can take Ukraine in 3 days, that's if there is a political collapse, which it didn't happen because Zelensky was brave and he wanted to fight. So the 3 days did not happen. Zelensky did not run away. as per what Putin expected him to do. So yeah, so that also give Putin some emotional damage. He feel very gutted. There's a tummy shot. So no choice. Russia also lost a lot of troops because of this miscalculation. Anyway, so he said that the Russians' casualty number is 3 times higher than the Ukraine's, and even more in certain directions. Okay, so they say that the number of killed is much bigger. This is what he emphasized. So Zelensky said that 31,000 troops has died since 2022. So this is in February. So he said that the losses are sensitive topic, which Moscow could exploit. So if let's say they're 31,000, let's say the intensity of the fighting since that time, let's say we double, okay? There will be 62,000. So 62,000, Russia lost 3 times more. So 62, 318, 180,000. No, the Ukrainians say 500,000. So no, the maths all don't add up. No, I feel very offended. Anyway, so the Syrskyi contrasted battlefield tactics with those used with Russian commanders, known for sacrificing huge number of infantry to gain 100-200 meters, which is pure propaganda. There isn't even a single footage of Russian doing a mass World War One style human wave charge. So there are, however, no BTRs, no BMPs, no rushing up, no one or two of them rushing to the front line and get killed. That happened, but that's probably at most 20 soldiers. So is that considered huge number of infantry? I have no idea, man. So he said that he is not willing to achieve goals at any cost and asked his men into futile meets assault. It's necessary to move to more favorable positions. Sounds like Russian propaganda as well. So Russia say the exact same thing. So sure, okay. So F-16 would strengthen air defenses. Okay, so he's going to use F-16 as air-to-air fighter. Yeah, I think that could work because that's the only way you can take down the Russian fighter jets that is no dropping fabs. But that also doesn't mean that F-16 can escape air defense systems as well. And they say that it will allow F-16 to work more effectively against Russian cruise missiles and hit ground target accurately. So F-16 have to deal with cruise missiles as well as attack ground targets. Okay, so but then he said that the F-16 had to remain 40 kilometers or more from the front line because Moscow will shoot them down. So how are they going to hit ground targets from 40 kilometers away? Interesting information. So, and here he is again. So Russia has superior aviation and very strong air defense. So as a result, Ukraine is turning to UAVs and he uses drones very effectively and trying out robotic ground systems, land robots that can deliver ammunition, rescue soldiers. So they fight not by quantity but by quality. They say that drones play as big as a role as artillery. So all these statements is pretty true. Ukraine indeed has very strong drone force. However, Russia isn't really that far away, and Russia also have drones that Ukrainians do not have. So, and the Russians also is experimenting on land bots. So I don't think they have much of an advantage per se. So Ukraine has used long-range kamikaze drones to strike deep into Russia, targeted 200 critical infrastructure sites, which connected to military logistics like factory, field munition, which all basically did nothing in stopping the Russians to progress. Speedboat-like sea drones sunk about a third of the naval fleet, Black Sea naval fleet. A third. I'm not sure if it's a third, but I think they sunk a lot of the landing ship tanks, which are also hit by aerial drones. Arguably. So, but the Black Sea Fleet is pretty useless for now. But hitting the Black Sea Fleet is good because it removes a threat. Because the Russian Black Sea Fleet could do an amphibious landing, and taking out most of these landing ship tanks basically means that the Russians will not be able to do an amphibious landing in Odessa. So that works. So it became a threat for them, and some agree, Syrskyi said about the Black Sea Fleet. Okay. So has been forced to completely pull out from Crimea port after the Ukrainian attacks. Yeah, still does nothing on the battlefield. So I mean, you can call it a victory, but it does nothing. Like really, it does nothing. Like you can claim it a victory, sure. Drone and missile strike have wiped out radar and rocket installation. So did the Russians, did it on the Ukrainians. So nothing special about it. Key Ukrainian objective is to destroy the Kerch Road and rail connection connecting the peninsula with Russia. So Syrskyi said that this might happen again. So previous attempt using a truck bomb and a drone strike. So the Ukrainians still want to hit the Kerch Bridge, the Crimean Bridge. It's really pointless. I don't know why. No, it doesn't do anything on the battlefield. But okay, let them try. I saw the pro-Ukrainian guys have celebrating about the arrival of the attack Ms for the HIMARS and the M270, saying that this will be the end of the Kerch Bridge, the Crimean Bridge, and the Crimean freaking bridge is still there, because that's not the purpose of an attack M missile. It's not used in this way. So you need airstrikes, to be honest, to properly destroy the bridge. And the F-16 can't fly that far because they will be shot down. So we shall see. So he said that Kiev has a plan to get back Crimea. Was this really feasible? He said it is realistic. Of course, a big military secret. They will do whatever they can to reach internationally recognized border of 1991. And they have to win to liberate their citizens who are in occupied territories who are suffering. Okay, this is a bit hard to swallow. So he said that he have realistic plans to conquer back all of Ukraine, but he just spent the entire article saying they are on the back foot. Russia have 2 to 3 times more power than them. But of course, they also say that his soldiers can kill 3 times more Russian soldiers than the Russians could. So, which means they are evenly matched right now, according to Syrskyi. He said that it's realistic to capture back Crimea. I think trying that will just attract nuclear strikes. This is just what I think. And because Crimea is not Donbass, it's a different thing. So, but let's see what the Ukrainians can do. And the citizens in the occupied territories are suffering. How are they suffering? Most of these people in the occupied territories are the people from Donbass Republic, the Donetsk and the Luhansk Republic, which they had been fighting the Ukrainians themselves for some time, for years. So if you're talking about the people in Kherson, in Zaporizhia, arguably, maybe, I'm quite sure some are suffering, but their suffering is no different from those in Ukraine. There are others who are doing better. They migrated into Russia. I think those will be doing well. Those that are trying to protect their village and their land, trying to farm, I think those will suffer because it's a lot harder to farm right now. So yeah, so he looked very confident about gaining back the 1991 border. So Syrskyi, the article still continues. So this is some gossip, not very important. So he's a warm and personable person. You are a reporter, you're not a soldier. I don't know. So is different. When a soldier talk to a civilian and talk to his own soldier is different. So he said that Kremlin is keen to kill him. I'm not sure. Maybe. So he seldom see his family. He said that his family is suffering, and this is his issue. Although he got a son in Australia, who is pro-Russia. But that is the ex-wife's son, no. So he know how to win. He know he can win. They will win. He know how to do it, and he's sure that he will do it. And he said that he doesn't sleep. He read books about Ukrainian history to understand past processes. I don't think that works. I think this is just talking rubbish. I think maybe reading books on Ukrainian history to motivate their soldiers with propaganda. I don't think this makes sense. No, there is not a lot of Ukrainian history. Most of Ukrainian history is actually Russian or Polish history. That's yeah. Anyway, that will go into another can of worms, which Ukraine is a very new country. No, there's no such country as Ukraine until 1991. And so if then people want to say Kievan Rus is also the ancestor kingdom or ancestor of Russia and of Belarus. No, it's not only Ukraine. So it's like, it's the same people. These are the same people that are killing each other. So So one of the pressing challenges is to find new recruits to replace Ukrainian soldiers who have been killed and injured. So those fighting in the trenches are exhausted. There's no more patriotic fervor. So and then they reduced the conscription age from 27 to 25. And there's a new law also require men to register their details with military recruitment centers. Many have done so, others are hiding. So he said that without mobilization, he cannot create new reserves and brigades, which is needed because Russia multiplied its own land forces. But there's only 120,000 left, right? We already counted. So it's important for all citizens of Ukraine to fulfill their constitutional duty. So he urged Ukrainians living outside to take part as well. So Dennis, what are you waiting for? And so that after the victory, they'll be able to tell their children where they were. Where were all the citizens of Ukraine fighting such battle? After victory, this is overconfidence. I don't think Ukraine can be so confident of victory. Russia, yes, because they have a bigger reserve and it's a bigger country, bigger economy. But sure, if he's so confident, sure. But I'm quite sure he cannot say negative things because he's interviewing with Western media. But let's be realistic. For this to happen, you need to do this. You need to have victory, you need to have mobilized. And if you cannot mobilize, then you cannot have new reserve, then Russia will have more troops than you. So anyway, people say, there's also pro-Ukrainian people tell me that Russia is struggling to recruit, struggling to mobilize troops. So how they multiply their land forces is beyond anyone's imagination. Initiative taking shape in Poland. So Ukrainians abroad will be invited to join a new legion there. What's the difference? Going back to Ukraine and joining a legion in Poland, what's the difference? The same thing, right? So building trust and between man and officer, and then the legion will be sent to the front line to die. So, and then he credits Zelensky with this different approach. Okay, so yeah. So and then this article suddenly write about Syrskyi have no political ambition as opposed to Zelensky, which means that he see that Zelensky have political ambitions. No, cannot write like that. So Russia begins armed takeover of Ukraine in 2014, which is not fully true. They did annex Crimea. Covertly grab parts of Donetsk is definitely not correct, because I don't think that is true. It because to say this is a bit like saying that um, like Iran has covertly grabbed parts of Yemen, parts of Palestine, and part of Syria. Something like this. No, by supporting and funding and providing arms, maybe even advisors, maybe even some troops into helping the Donbass people, the Donbass militias, the rebels, is grabbing parts of the region is contestable. No, contestable. Of course, people who are anti-Russia will think that way. Personally, I think it's no different from what Iran is doing in the Middle East or United States is doing in the Middle East. Why is it everything is in the Middle East? So yeah. So no. So Donald Trump pledged to end the war in day one. Could Ukraine win? If so, how long before victory? He said, I think you have to be very, very brave to say when. We do everything to make it happen. There's simply no more important task for us. Okay. So he didn't really answer some questions. He totally do not know when the victory will come. He totally do not know how. Because if the idea of they know how to win and he's confident of winning, that's also just confident words. It's like, if you give me the entire military of NATO, I also can guarantee you I can win. But Ukraine don't have that. So so the entire dependence of Ukrainian victory, the victory conditions is prerequisite on NATO's provision of weaponry, perhaps even soldiers. If not, how Ukraine is going to win? I have no freaking idea. Like, he talks up F-16s, but then he talks down about their current situation where they have everything lesser, and Russia have superior air force. But he talks up the F-16, and then he talks up about able to win back Donbass and Crimea. Yet he don't have all these things. He can only talk up the F-16s, and no, this is just a lot of cope. I think he is in a very difficult situation. Let's be real. So anyway, this is the article. This is the interview with Syrskyi, Alexander Syrskyi, the commander-in-chief of Ukraine. So this is my live reaction. I've never read this article until now, so we are basically reading it together, me reacting immediately. So yep, that's it. Press the like button, subscribe. The Frontline Changes report, because I post this video, so the Frontline Changes report will be on the DPA War channel. So click the link, the button, the orange logo, press it, subscribe to DPA War, and I'll see you guys in the next update.